Party, Azimio, One Kenya Alliance, for nominating me to the Pan-African Parliament and the August House for passing the same. I look forward to serving with the honorable members that have so been selected and nominated into the Pan-African Parliament, and to making sure that we address the issues of Africa in totality and hold our flag up high. I stand to support the legislative proposal to amend the Constitution, Amendment Bill 2022 by Honorable Geshimu Gitinji and Honorable Stephen Mule. Madam Speaker, CDF, Constituency Development Fund, has done so much good. When some of the schools that I go to, and I'll just point out to Kibra constituency, we have Shadrach Himilel Secondary, Bagathi Girls Secondary, Raila Education Center, Woodley Boys, Raila Education Center as well. All these schools and institutions that have been built by CDF are serving the community. If you care to look at what was there before these schools were built, you will realize the importance of CDF. During the time of giving out bursaries, again you see the amount of families that come out to ask for bursaries because they cannot afford to pay the bursaries that are the school fees for their children. And this is something that has really helped. The Constituency Development Fund gives over 25 million shillings in bursaries. They also build police stations. We know with the growing population, the police are challenged, and we also know that they need the police stations. But I also feel that while we're looking for this legislative proposal to amend the Constitution, we need to also look at how better can we enhance CDF. Can we make sure that CDF also participates in environment by ensuring that they can plant the trees? Because we need more trees, especially in our schools. Can we ensure that CDF can also look into areas in the schools, areas such as playgrounds for the children to be able to play? There's so many things that we can do to enhance learning. We can also look at how we can also improve. In terms of one of the honorable members here stated today that CDF does not have recurring expenditure, but they would want to also be able to provide the teachers, because at the moment there's a shortage of teachers in the schools, and if they were able to do that, they would be able to actually enhance the learning in the schools. While I stand here, I also want to speak about the National Government Affirmative Action Fund, NGAF, to which I'm a patron, and all women reps are patron. Now, NGAF, unlike CDF, is not anchored in terms of percentage of the national budget. CDF gets 2.5%. We really believe that they should get more than that, 5%, so that they can build more schools. I also feel that we need to look at how we can enhance constituencies that have a higher population. It is really sad to see a constituency like Kasarani, which has over 300,000 people, getting the same amount of CDF as a constituency in Lamu that has 11,000 people. So what we need to do is find a way to look at the population as we disburse CDF as well, so that the higher populations can have more money, because you will find that they do not have enough schools in those densely populated areas, because they can only build so many schools with the funds they have. Transition from primary to secondary. We have a lot of primary schools, but we don't have enough secondary schools. Now, if we look at both CDF and GAF, GAF is not anchored in terms of percentage to the national cake. And the reason why GAF is not is because GAF was an accidental kind of a fund for the women reps. What happened is there was 2 billion shillings for a rerun. We didn't have a rerun, and then the women in the 12th Parliament went and actually asked, the 11th Parliament, went and asked if that fund could be given to the women reps. And why would they ask for a fund? Because this country is different from other countries in the sense that we need relationships between the people we represent and the legislators. Kenyans want to know, what have you done for me lately? How have you benefited my child? And if we remove CDF and we remove GAF, then what will happen is that the people that we serve will basically feel that there's nothing in it for them to even come out and vote. We saw the voter apathy that we had in the last election. Over 8 million people did not vote. You eliminate these funds, CDF, GAF, you will see that people will not feel the need to vote anymore, because what's in it for them? They will never be able to access the executive. They will never be able to go to the ministries. And if the county governments were able to address the issues of schools, the issues of bursaries, and I know they do bursaries, if they were able to address the issues of schools and police stations, then we would say, okay, fine, they are doing it, they have done it. But we've seen the devolution in the county governments are already having challenges in that they have a bloated staff, and they have a lot of debt that they have to cover over the years. So we need to understand that right now, as the population grows, we need more schools, we need more police stations, we need to actually support the families that actually cannot afford to educate their children. So when it comes to NGAF, I would really like to appeal that NGAF too becomes anchored into the constitution in terms of a percentage. Because now, when you look at NGAF, we as women reps per constituency get only 6 million shillings. So if you're getting 6 million shillings for a constituency, that means, and the vote for bursaries, I want to just compare bursaries. For bursaries, the woman rep has 1.2 million for the entire year. The MP, the single constituency MP, has 25 million. So of course, when you're comparing, how do the majority, which are the men in the single constituency, do in comparison to the women, you see that they call a huge crowd, they reach out to more people, and we are only able to reach out in a ward per year to only 20 students if we're giving 10,000 shillings. 20 students in an entire ward is not going to be felt. Another thing that we have a problem with when it comes to GAF is that it is actually, it's supposed to be an affirmative action fund. And an affirmative action fund, when you want to help chamas, and you're telling chamas, oh, the woman rep has got money for chamas, then you're only able to give 10 chamas in a year, funding and 2 per ward, then it's not actually able to make you be felt. And this is the thing, our constituents want to feel the leaders. They want to access that representation. They want to see how can you improve our lives. Now there is all this talk about the Hustler Fund, looking for funding, and in so doing, they might actually collapse some of these funds. And I have actually heard His Excellency the President saying that no, he has understood and understands the importance of CDF and GAF. Our able chair, Rahab Mukami, went in and actually represented us and actually said, you know what, if you're looking to cut funds, do not cut GAF, because GAF was going to be cut further by 500 million. We're hoping that GAF can be given a percentage as well. And because we serve the county, we also want to ensure that we also have an oversight. You know, when the senators are asking for oversight, I also heard the honorable members here who are representing the CDF asking for the same, because we are patrons. We actually need the oversight to ensure that we do the monitoring and evaluation to make sure that the fund has actually done what it was meant to do. So for me, as a country, we cannot afford to lose this benefit that comes through the MPs to the people that we represent. They need the bursaries. Right now, if you look at my phone, the amount of messages that are coming in asking for bursaries, children are being sent home on a daily basis. I mean, how are we going to ensure that the population actually goes to school? And I don't mind, it's a devil's playing field. All these children, if they cannot go to school, if we cannot have police stations, if we cannot have bursaries, if we cannot have more schools, then we're going to have a problem in that we're going to be breeding criminals rather than able citizens who are going to actually serve this country going forward. So I support this fully, and I ask that the President honestly works towards his Hustler Fund, which is important, but to also enhance the CDF as well as the National Government Affirmative Action Fund. Thank you.
Very well, Member for Nairobi County. The Honorable Geoffrey Mwangi, Member for Tetu.